we are heading to the Okie Homesteading Expo 2026. Just gonna have to do a little bit of seeing how it goes, I guess. I really like that saying, you know, it's not ours, it's just our time with it. What is up, everybody? I am Ty. This is Wallace Family Farm and Outdoors, and it's a Monday. I lied to you guys last week. I said that spring was here, and we've been welcomed by 30-mile-an-hour winds and 20-degree temperatures, and now the tractor won't start. So we're gonna pop the hood. I'm gonna see if I think we've got a fuel issue, and we're gonna go from there. Okay, I don't know if you can hear it running, but we're running now. I called, it wouldn't start. Started looking stuff up on YouTube. Fuel, gelling, you know, obviously it seemed like a fuel issue because it would start, run for just a second, and then die. It's like, well, obviously it's not getting fuel. You guys can't tell, but I'm parked on a slope, probably mistake number one. I was a little bit low on fuel, it showed a little bit under a quarter of the tank, mistake number two. I keep filling out of these 5-gallon jugs, what I've done for years, mistake number three. So, and I've been adding like a fuel additive to prevent gelling, but I hadn't done that recently, so probably mistake number four. Wouldn't start. I called the dealership I bought it from just to try to get some help. Hey, maybe fuel filter, what do you guys think? And they were very helpful. Bought it from Great Plains, Shawnee, Kubota in Shawnee, Oklahoma. They've been great to deal with. I bought this and a mower and rented stuff. They're great to deal with. And they were trying to help me. But my question is, I don't see fuel going into my water separator. And I don't know why that is, but it's running. I run clear diesel out of gas pumps, so maybe that's why I don't see it. It's actually clear. It's not red diesel or off-road diesel or anything like that. So anyway, it started, it's idling, it started eventually. I don't know what the issue was, but we're back running now, so we're gonna go put out hay and drag for a minute. Didn't want to bore you guys with going and putting out hay and dragging pasture. There's only so much of that I figure you want to stand. So we are hooked up to the trailer. We're gonna go over and get some cattle panels, and we're gonna make a different feeding area for our steers to get them away from Hank. We're going to transition to more of a corn-based feed, and I figure that's not very good for Hank, so let's go get them loaded up and we'll come back and set it up. Okay, here is the pen where Kirsten and I fought that cow those times. We've got to take it down. We got to load up our feeder, our little trough, and we're going to take it home. There's the panels that cow broke trying to get her loaded. We got to come over here at some point with the skid steer and grapple, grab a bunch of trees and burn some brush piles, and guy that built that pond needs to come and finish that. So got a lot of projects. We got some old broken implements that need to go in a scrap trailer. Got a lot to do over here. Don't think I've mentioned it yet, but we are very excited for the Okie Homesteading Expo. Looking forward to seeing all you guys that are going and all the other YouTube people. So it's gonna be very exciting. This video obviously is gonna come out afterwards, so just figured I'd mention it. I think I'll put you guys on time lapse somewhere where you can see, hopefully. Watch me load all these panels. You guys ever have those moments of self-doubt where you're like, man, what is going on? Well, I didn't remember these panels being that heavy, and then I figured out they're full of ice. So the tops are open, the bottoms are full of dirt, they're full of ice. So starting to feel bad about myself. And then I figured out, yeah, I'm not getting weaker, they are literally getting heavier. So we got a load, gonna take the trough over there to put feed in. we're gonna leave a few panels because as much as I want to prove how strong I am, they are a little bit heavier than they were. We got to come over here to get more stuff anyway. It's not on a time crunch, so we'll take these over there, get them set up, get the steers fed, start transitioning them to that different feed a little bit at a time. Let's go see how it goes. Hey, if you like family farm outdoor content, cleaning up, outdoor projects, home projects, equipment, feeding cows, all that stuff, give us a follow. Let's get back to the video. Well, we made it home. Let me show you guys what I want to do. So there's our gate going down to our creek bottom. There's the house and everything. Well, the gentleman that owned this before, he had this as a catch pen with an alley over there. Obviously, it hasn't been used in a while. We got some big trees growing up here. I came and I cleaned all this out with the skid steer, so it's a lot better. What I want to do is essentially just put those panels across the front. That way I can open this gate and let the steers go in here and eat and lock Hank out. I don't know how exactly I'm going to do it because obviously we make kind of an angle when that opens. So we're going to have to play with it. There's also a spot open right there that we're gonna have to put a panel across. Just gonna have to do a little bit of seeing how it goes, I guess. This spot over here is pretty open, but it's got a little bit of net, kind of wire woven fence across it. We may put a panel there. And then when we want to take the steers to their final destination, we're going to have to load out of this. So we need it to be a little bit better than what it is. So let me set you guys up and I'll start pulling panels off. So I was thinking, man, I need to go get some clippers and clip out all these little sprouts. Then I'm like, well, Goober, you got a skid steer with a tree puller. Go get your tree puller. So stand by, we're going to go get the tree puller. I did not know what to expect when I bought that tree puller. I watched some YouTube videos like we all do. I thought it would be good. I love that thing. I don't know if you could really tell, but we pulled up some trees that are bigger than a softball, maybe, you know, pineapple size, and grabbing those little ones a little bit above those, because I got pipe posts that I really didn't want to pull up. You know, you could grab them up above the pipe and just pull them up. It's awesome. I'm really impressed with that thing. So now that I've done my sales pitch on buying a tree puller, let's start putting up our panels. saddle panel snapped and popped me right in the finger. Working around stuff that someone else has done, and you know, they've passed away, and you can just picture in your head, you know, 50 years ago or however long ago there was somebody out here messing with their cows. Really makes you, I really like that saying, you know, it's not ours, it's just our time with it. And really hits home. We're not always going to be around. So if you guys got something you want to do, you better get it done. There's no telling what'll happen tomorrow. That's why we got to get this done today. All right, we're gonna come out kind of exactly like I hoped maybe, but we're gonna have one more panel. I have to turn you guys. Let's see here. There we go. Let's open that. Let's open this gate and see what happens. I think we're gonna have to make a panel run like this, and then when we pull this back, they'll touch, because we don't want the steers getting out over here, but we don't want Hank getting in their pen. So it's not like I can just make a funnel with this orange gate to that panel. I can't just make a funnel and funnel them in there, because Hank can also get in there. So gonna have to add one more panel, and then it's gonna look kind of goofy. And then once we open this orange gate, we can shut our extra panel and shut the steers in there. Let's try it, I guess. Man, I keep hurting myself today. Okay, let's see what happens when we... So that would be them coming in. Obviously that's fine. And then we'll shut this and latch it. Then we'll come over here, shut this. That'll work. It's just gonna sit kind of awkward against that, but it's achieving what we need to do. So guys, this is temporary, working with what we've got here. Obviously we don't want big trees growing up in our pen system over here, but this is already here. Why not use it? So that's what we're gonna do. But let me go get a bucket and we'll get some feed and we'll test it out with them and see how it works. We gotta go get a pan for Hank, that way we can feed him out there. We'll try it out. Well, it worked. As you can see, we've got the steers eating in there. Hank threw a wrench in our plans though. I opened the gate. I wanted, you know, the whole point of this is feeding Hank away from, Kirsten's run over stuff. Whole point of this is feeding Hank away from the steers so they can get different feed. And I went to feed him thinking he was going to go to the feed pan, and the gate was open about that much, and he saw that and beelined out of here, and it was a chase for Hank. But I think this will work. I'm just gonna have to really pay attention to what Hank is doing. The whole issue is there are some girl donkeys at our neighbor's place, and I think that he wants to make some friends. I think that Hank may be a little bit on the lonely side, if you feel me, if you pick up what I'm putting down. So it's going to be a little interesting of how he handles the springtime. But steers are doing good. They're less of a man than Hank is, I'll put it that way. Okay, so we're over here at our place where we've got the cows. We've got some graze, or not graze on. We've got some remedy mixed up, and we are going to spend about an hour attacking thorn bushes. We're going to spray our corral and get that all killed out. Let's go do it. We're going to try to do some improvements here before we go to work, so let's get to it. I gave the four-wheeler and the tractor a bath last night, so I've never had one of these that plugged into the plug-in, the cigarette lighter plug-in. I've always had to attach it to my battery, and the cigarette lighter is much more convenient, I gotta say. We're also gonna feed the cows. We've got some cubes in the truck. I gotta throw those on the four-wheeler, so we're gonna have a good morning. So little stuff like this, we're basically just driving around on the four-wheeler, just gonna hit it with the graze on, or I'm sorry, remedy. I don't know why I keep saying graze on. Continue on. We got a very light wind out of the south, so obviously I want to be on the upland side. I don't want to get sprayed by this stuff. I'm sure it's not good for you. So why I'm doing this, I thought about using a handheld little pump tank, but I really need this sprayer to be spraying the cows' flies. Because trying to spray them with a little handheld tank is not working out. I've tried it, they don't like it, but I figure if I can empty this tank, kill out this stuff, clean it out, then I can go to spraying with a little handheld tank and spray the cows for flies with this tank. So we'll see how it works out. Okay, so this is down here at our corral. This is kind of the main stuff we got to get rid of. I've let it overtake our corral and we just can't have it anymore. We're gonna get to spraying. Well, we got it all sprayed, or at least the main part. I'm gonna give it a few days or a week or 2 weeks, however long you guys think it should take to see an effect. And once I start seeing what got a good kill on it, we'll come back and do some more. So I'm excited. This has been a long time coming of spraying this corral. Bluebell update, he is doing great. He eats about as much as a horse and runs around like one too. We got some comments about in some earlier videos his legs would shake because he was still kind of gaining that muscle, but not anymore. He is pretty strong. And he also weighs a lot more than he used to.
Are you starving?
Kirsten got her porch cow. Now the issue is he really wants to be a house cow. Because if he's hungry and you leave the door open, he's coming inside.
And Buck is not a fan. Buck is terrified of it.
Buck's not a fan because when Bluebell's hungry, he's
slings his head around.
really pushy and Buck does not like anyone or anything being pushy, do you?
Are you ready to let the chickens out and get eggs? No. Buck's got his egg basket. He's ready to go get eggs.
No, not Bluebell.
Not Bluebell. Bluebell not
invited. You want Bluebell to stay here?
Yeah.
Bluebell comes with us to let the chickens out sometimes, huh?
Yeah.
Here's something else. He stays up here without a fence. He kind of hangs with the dogs or finds a shady spot. I don't know when that'll change. When it gets big, we're gonna have to get we're gonna have to upsize our bell. He must have been really hungry because he's draining this bottle.
I think he's got the nipple how he likes it now.
So we had we had borrowed a bottle of nipple from my buddy's dad, and so we got our own bottle of nipple, and we had borrowed milk replacer too, so we took him a bag of milk replacer and
took him his bottle and nipple.
Yeah.
And that nipple just happened to be his favorite.
They had the nipple to where it had almost like a hole, so when you turned it over, milk would go pouring out, and Bluebell would guzzle it.
Whether that was good or not, I don't know.
Probably wasn't the best, but that's how it was. Good question to ask. When do you guys think we can start supplementing him with feed? At what age? This is our first bottle baby we've ever had.
Whoa. The wind's like blowing him over.
Kind of like a big sail.
Whoa. Come on, Bubba's. Oh, look at him run.
You will walk on your feet. That might become a problem when he's 500 pounds.
Hi, boy. Bluebell's like, what in the world? Were they scary? Were those chickens scary?
Did you tell him about Buck the other day? Coming down here and getting eggs by himself?
I couldn't find him, and he had driven his little truck all the way down to the chicken pen, and I looked down here and he was down here getting eggs all by himself. He's a big help. Bluebell, what are you doing? Good job.
Bluebell, you went in there? Just a second, look at it. So, I've been thinking a lot about like these pellets. Instead of feeding pellets, ordering from I think it's called Azure Standard, where you can buy like seeds and a grinder and taking seeds and grinding up chicken feed that's more organic, I guess, instead of something so processed. What do you guys think? Is that? I know a lot of people are gonna say just feed the pellets, but I thought it'd be cool to feed them something more earthy, I guess. We don't attack the chickens.
What?
There you go, get you some water. So we have a pond right there. And I can't get these chickens to go to it. I tried with feed the other day. I thought I'd lead them over there. They say that's too far. I don't know if they're chicken hawks that come down and scare them. But they're not fans of going very far away. Uh-oh. Man, he's running like he's got her hair on fire. Oh yeah, we got chicks. Let's go look at them. Yeah. So we go to Tractor Supply and we're like moths to a flame, drawn to the chicks, and we always go look at them and see what kind of breeds they have. Well, we got 6 chicks the other day at Tractor Supply. One ended up dying kind of that night, didn't last very long. And then Kirsten has made friends. A lady hatched out 60.
Well, we gave her 48 of our
We gave
eggs.
her 48 fertilized eggs.
And we just split them in half. She incubated them for us.
And 30 of them hatched, I think. And
I think 32, because we both ended up with 16.
so we got 16 chicks from a lady hatching out the eggs, which is very nice. So we got a bunch of baby chicks to go look at.
I'm excited to see what they all look like, because
They've got like a very pretty color.
Bluebell's excited to see him too.
Everybody's doing good. You say Buck put toys in there for them?
Yeah. Thought they were bored. See, they all have like the same marking. There's a couple like white ones, a couple brown ones, and a bunch of
Almost like a
like the
Wine
gray.
dot.
Yeah, I think that's what, I hope that's what they are. I'm trying to check on the chicks and Bluebell has found my finger. You're kind of high maintenance, you know?
So Kirsten and Quade and I are loaded up and we are heading to the Okie Homesteading Expo 2026. Kirsten looked up the events for today and it's got like beekeeping. What else?
Live hog processing.
Virtual intro to like virtual fence, which is, I'm really interested in that. If we get into that soil health program through the Conservation Commission of getting the cows the virtual fence collars.
That'd be amazing.
There's like intro to rotational grazing. There's a fishing and cleaning fish demo.
We thought Quade might be interested in that one.
So if you're interested in homesteading, it certainly seems like there's going to be something.
And I mean, it sounds like there's way more than just home. I mean, there's like soap making and cheese making and sourdough and tinctures. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
Yep, very exciting. So we're excited to see what it is. This is our first year, so
We're getting a little bit of a late start. So we had to drop the little boys off this morning, but it sounds, I mean, the schedule looks like there's a full day of stuff, so hopefully it'll be fine. And a lot of the stuff that we were interested in looks like it's going to happen this afternoon anyways, so we're excited.
whoa. All right, baby, you gotta do it.
Supposed to hold your hand up.
Yeah, you gotta have your hand up. Squeeze with your legs.
About to go.
When it goes forward, you go back. Quade, put your hand up. Oh.
Good job, Wade.
He's no Lane Frost. All right, babe, your turn.
Thank you, no.
can always get a majority of hair off of the in general, just never boil it. Don't boil it. You don't want the rolling boil. Just trim it. And I spilled a little bit, but
I think we want one of these.
one of these guys?
Yeah.
Vertical fence is essentially controlling an animal's location with a device that you put on the animal. Traditional fence costs. If you're going to build a fence, to do it, we're just talking about the perimeter now. Just simply do it. If you're going to build a fence around the perimeter, let's say this is what it would cost in terms of what cost you put in there to build that fence.
Tell them about that.
Quaid said to fund our trip because it was everything, almost everything was cash only, and he's the only one that brought cash.
Great thing. Most people don't say that, but as soon as while it was burning, our children, most of them married, said, "We're going to fix this. We're going to rebuild."
Well, so very interesting day. Very insightful. Learned a lot about some different stuff. Learned a lot about the virtual GPS collars and a really good presentation on rotational grazing. A lot to think about. We weren't going to come back for the next day, but I do think we're going to come back for the morning session. There's a pretty interesting class. So very, if you're into like the being good to the earth and growing your own food and all that stuff, I think it's definitely something to check out. We spent all of Quaid's money. He's really happy about that. So
Maybe questioning his decision to come with us today.
yeah, he's questioning.
But he did get a Captain Kaysen shirt, so he
Got
is.
a Captain
about
Kaysen
that.
shirt from Eddie Family Farm and a foxtail. So it's been a good day. Well, you guys, whatever we didn't learn, it'll be okay, because we are going to stay at a Holiday Inn.
All right, so it's day 2 of the Okie Expo.
Go past Southeast Fifth
We
Street and turn right
got
onto
our
Park
hotel
Street.
breakfast this morning, and now we're headed back to the fairgrounds. There were just a couple of sessions that we wanted to see this morning, and so we're gonna go to them. Would you remember what they were about?
Turn
One
right
is
onto
like
Park
feeding
Street.
your animals from the food you grow on your farm. So we're gonna have to put their names down in the description or something, but they basically encourage everything they eat and everything their animals eat come from their farm, which I thought was interesting. And Kirsten's going to.
I want to see Temple Grandin. She's doing a session over like animal behaviors. So they're both at 9, so I think we're gonna split up and
Divide and conquer.
yeah.
Turn right.
So we wrote that book. So we encourage you to come over to our table, which is right around the corner there.
I think we only have about 6 more of these, right?
No, we have that whole box.
Is there another box of these? Okay, all right.
Those terms that they have on there, like protein, that can be all kinds of things. It can be urea, it can be all kinds of things.
So, day after the expo, had a little bit of time to digest what we learned. The virtual fencing, I think, is going to change cattle. So most people, y'all are like us. We want to use our land for several things. We want to run some cows on it. We want to have some chickens, and we want to hunt and fish and do all this stuff. And if you've got cows and you want to do all that stuff, cows typically mess it up. So the other thing that we learned about was the rotational grazing. Now, I've tried to do rotational grazing with I know, that's a cool horse. With a barbed wire strand and a hot strand. I've tried to split our place in half, and then I've got another pin where I would try to rotate around. Well, my problem was deer would come knock my hot strand off, and then the cows would just do whatever they wanted. So the virtual fence, I mean, you create a fence at the touch of a button. So like us, if we had a pond, I don't want the cows in the pond at all, let's say. I want this to be bass pond. You make a fence around your pond, that can't go in the pond, but you're making it virtually. And then your rotational grazing, you just make their paddocks on your phone. You're not building any fence. You're moving it, and you can build fences around places and things you don't want them to go, and they're pretty reliable apparently, and they're getting more reliable all the time. I think if we did it, we would probably use the brand No Fence, because some of them require what they call a base station, and they're pretty expensive, whereas No Fence, if you've got a cell phone signal, it'll work. So very exciting stuff. If you could implement a rotational grazing program with your virtual fence, I think that would be awesome. And you might say, well, Ty, just get out there and do your rotational grazing with hot strands. Well, I talked to Kirsten about it. The thing that I question if it would work is we have a ton of woods at our place, and so how am I going to fence off the timber? Every day I'm going to have to, you know what I mean? Whereas with the No Fence, I could literally just go in there and make it how I wanted. So I don't know. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts. If you guys are really interested in it, we live in Oklahoma. The guy who taught the course works for OSU. I would go find the guy and ask him if he'd do like an hour-long, Q&A or whatever to answer more questions. Or if we get in a grant program where we can get it, we'll do it and tell you guys what we think. So it's kind of my thoughts on the virtual fencing stuff. I think it's the future for sure. We had a great time at the expo. If you can go next year, I'd strongly encourage you to go. There's all kinds of interesting stuff. If you like being more self-reliant and learning about your animals and how to do all that stuff, I think it'd be a great time. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week.